Hey, what's up, everyone? You're currently tuned into Lietoc's Demands Remain Unwritten on KCSB FM 91.9 in Santa Barbara. Today, Lieotc and I are joined by a Chicago-based musician and post-wook head, Jake Acosta. You can find his latest album, Rehearsal Park, out on tape and CD on Husky Pants, and Genius or Not on the Blorpus Editions Bandcamp. How you doing, Jake?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Dude, thanks for being here. What do we got playing in the background?
Oh, I always have like this thing. I try to like collect these collages. I don't know. I find them on Vimeo. You can like buy them for like $3 or $4.
Whoa!
Oh, actually,
really? Yeah, actually, you rent them and then I just rip them.
Dude, you should send me the link or something to that, because like that would be so sick to just play in the background at shows and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's the purpose, like for that. Like a lot of the ones I find, they're just like, show at your gallery or whatever. Here, it's $5, but it's like to rent for 24 hours, $5.
So interesting.
Also, a lot of them, they're only maybe a couple minutes and they don't repeat necessarily. So
yeah,
you just have to be creative or figure it out. But a lot of them are cool. There's a lot of like animation studios that do this. And
interesting.
Was there like a particular one that got you into all of that, or
like how'd you even find that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
I'm really into animation, I guess, and like there's this one like artist, this German artist. I think his name is Marco Berenger, or maybe just Mark Berenger or something like that.
Yeah.
And he has an animation studio in Germany that he rents out a lot of these things he makes. I think this is one of his mixed with something else. But yeah, like I feel a little cheap just like doing it at, like if I was just doing a live show or like a live set, I was just using. But I do like to like collage them together and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm trying to get more into visuals like these days.
Yeah, for sure. That's sick. So how are you making? Do you like make your own visuals and stuff? Like how are you going about doing that?
Yeah, with like there's like just with Premiere or with like I have like a shitty version of what's it called? Just Final
Cut Pro or something that comes on the Mac or something like that.
It's so funny. It's called Final. It's like,
oh really?
Well, it is. It's like, yeah, Final Cut. It's like, I get why it's called Final Cut. Here's the last one, but it's like, it's not the last one for sure. It's like when it's like final Halloween movies.
Yeah, right.
I also was using like Toon Boom or something like there. All these free ones. I was dating this girl who was really into animation, and she showed me all these like free ones, or would like help me with it.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So when you got into like animation, I guess, was it like a need because of like music and stuff? I don't know. Cause like I found myself like getting more into graphic design just cause like I need to make flyers for my shows and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I would say that I'm definitely not an animator because like I don't do anything cell or anything like that. But like I really like it and I dig deep into like the artists that are animators. But to answer your question, like I think that I don't know, something about visual culture is like so informative for me. Like I guess like I would say I'm a musician, but it's really I spent a lot of time like doing other things that try and help inform music, because I would get like so burnt if I didn't have other
mediums and stuff.
Like I just really can't work in a void,
Yeah. That's sick, dude.
Not to keep going around on the animation stuff, but does this extend again to kind of, I guess, like watching, I don't know, like Oscar nominated short films, other random actual animation itself outside, or kind of just collage based works?
It's the stuff that I guess that I've seen is just so I would say that there's no connection to, I mean, like, I'm not really in any, like, it's just shit that someone showed me, or like, really not even that deep. I mean, like, like if I say that, like, I've found maybe like, let's say 10 of these videos they can rent or whatever, I could probably only locate like 2 or 3 right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like digging through Vimeo. Also, Criterion has a ton of cool animation stuff.
That was, I really love a lot of the short films on that. I haven't visited in a bit, but when I was doing film school or media studies at UCSB, some of that stuff, some of the early sound animation really grabbed me because it was trying to marry the sound to an image and having that effect be really purposely drawn. And I found that stuff to be really brilliant, or because a lot of it was done very abstractly and on kind of shoestring budgets.
And I'm really into I tend to be more into like illustrative kind of stuff. Like, I don't necessarily like cartoony stuff, but for some reason I really like when things have like a kind of like, you know, I don't know, a funniness to them or something.
Yeah.
Or just like an edge that's like, kind of like dumb or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to probably say that word a lot, and I don't really, probably shouldn't, but I like think a lot of things are dumb, and that's like good. So I don't know.
Is there like
I get you.
Like, are you familiar with the show Off the Air on Adult Swim there?
I don't know that one, no.
Oh man, you might.
Off the Air? Yeah, I'll check it out. Right.
They've been running it. Oh god, what is it? It's I forget the guy's name who's been doing it, but since 2011 he's run that program, and it's a collage of just YouTube videos that I think has struck.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of it is edited together with glitch. A lot of it is animated stuff, and each one loosely tied to a different theme. He was a big fan of Space Ghost and Aqua Teen, and so that editing style, the kind of silence, those humors show up again in his works, but he's taking people's stuff and remixing it into a larger thing.
That's cool.
Always had a love for that.
Yeah, I love Space Ghost. I love Squiggle Vision shit.
Oh wow, whole movie's great.
I mean, like,
and Dr. Katz. I got that DVD.
Oh, check this out.
Oh, you got to pull out the full series. Like, I only got the first 2 seasons.
For my tape case, I just got this.
Yo!
Oh hell yeah!
I don't know. Yeah, I fucking love that show.
Great program.
The hard thing about a lot of these is, like, you know, John is it H. John Benjamin? John H. Benjamin?
Yeah, or H. John Benjamin.
I can't watch other shows he's in. I'm just like, oh, it's either McGurk or Ben Katz. Like, I can't. Any other show, I was like, can't take it seriously. And I feel like that's a lot, happens a lot.
That's wild, because again, those shows are approaching, like, well, Whole Movies at this point is 20 years old. Dr. Katz is 25. He's cruising on that same voice on Fox with Bob's Burgers.
Right.
Oh, man.
Susan Pitts is another really cool animator I like. If you just like, she also taught at CalArts for a long time. But
that's like, did you go to CalArts?
No, but
okay.
My partner of a long time did. Now she's a professor at UCLA, Jenna Caravello. She was an animator. She's really good.
Nice. That's sick.
And we made I made a lot of music with her, kind of like animations and stuff. We had a project called Wallpaper Lake, and we would make like VHS, and
that's cool as hell.
Yeah, like I used to be really so back in like 2010 or 9, I started this label called Teen River, which was like a tape label that I started with my friend Drew, and it was like, I guess there was kind of like an MO. The MO was like, the first month we had this big party. We released 20 different tapes, 20 different artists, and then the very next month we released 20 more of 20 different artists, and then the next month 23 different artists, and then it kind of fizzled out after that. But it was like 63 tapes in 3 months. It was really wild.
Dude, that is insane.
I was
my god,
I don't really understand like what kind of like level realm I was living in at the time. it was definitely I was Chicago was like really, really booming at a certain point. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not anymore, but like there was like I lived at a DIY spot called a ball hall. It was like this big ballroom.
Wow.
That's cool as hell.
Shows like 4 times a week, and like
that's so
there
sick.
were so many, not just like DIY spaces in Chicago, but there were just so many like big spaces, like not just like apartments, or like they were massive spaces. Like there was Mortville, which was like really famous, where they had Bitch Pork. There was the Mopery, Situations, Treasure Town, Casa Donde, fucking Archer Ballroom and Archer Beach House, Roxaboxen. There was like Laura, the Beerix, Young Camelot. I mean, there was Ruben's Palace, Wally's World.
Whoa.
There was just like, it just like goes on and on. There was like, it was like so massive at one point.
Yeah.
And just made sense to like put out all those tapes at that time. And then we also did VHS and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's so sick. How long were you guys running that label for?
Probably, well, like, so Drew, I was doing it with my friend Drew Gibson, who was in this band Baby Birds Don't Drink Milks. Then they moved to New York. So at like 2012. So maybe only like 2 years. And then I started this other label called Lake Paradise, where I pressed vinyl and also did tapes. And yeah, so, and I still like, I just put out I have like my band music where it's like my songs, famous slaps. Like Lake Paradise put that out this past summer. Like, I don't know, I just do it randomly whenever I want to. So
is there any kind of major like commitment that you have with Lake of Paradise there? Just wondering, kind of like,
I mean,
a curation that you go through, or again, like a big time commitment when you know it's like, hey, I'm going to turn the wheel back on and crank something out.
Well, there used to be, for sure. And it was like, it used to be like, exceptionally good pop, like music, or like, indie pop stuff. Like, I was in this band called Distractions. That was like, we were on tour a bunch. We like toured a lot. And from that band, there was like Jay Fernandez that I put out vinyl for.
Oh, nice.
Minds. I put out this like fucking insane album. Potions. This electronic dude who is amazing electronic music, like the best, but it's also like poppy. He did stuff on like 100% Silk, and after that,
wow.
like,
oh, nice.
Great label. Yeah.
But it just had to be like really exceptionally like there had to be this like element of songwriting that I just like this person's a songwriter. Like, it's really hard to like pinpoint, really. I also don't really like when aesthetics are too like cut and clear. It's like kind of annoying to me, like Burger Record, like,
yeah.
Oh, like,
I mean, that's an extreme bad example, but like, it's just like, I think that the aesthetic becomes like, it's like Wes Anderson. It's like tone or like style is like the forefront, and like it like kind of cuts away from like story and content sometimes, I feel like. I don't know.
Kind of is this like I'm pulling out one of my Astral Spirits tapes, and again, they've got I don't know if they've done anything with Jamie recently. They've been having some new designers in, but the aesthetic of that label was always very like cut and paste, but the sounds were super varied. So there's a really good trade-off, and I always credit Jamie with like, that was big pulp art. No tape label, I think, had art as good as they did for years.
They definitely like have an aesthetic, but then they've like mixed it up. Like some releases, they'll have like some release that's like pretty different aesthetic wise. Yeah, no, I love Astral. I mean, like, it's also not a clear cut like thing. I'm not always like, I love Astral Spirits, so I would actually have to say that they're an exception. There's a lot of exceptions, but I think it's really easy for shit to just become really kind of like novelty, and then like you become like, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's easier to get famous, or it's easier to get like, whatever, a wider reach. But I don't know. I don't necessarily give a shit about that. So. I mean, I do, but like, I'd rather it just be like Drag City. I don't think you could ever say they have a
Oh yeah,
clear cut aesthetic.
An aesthetic, yeah, for sure.
I got my shebang tape over here, and this is very
Dude, shebang. Oh man. Hell
killer release. Also, good shout
I
out.
can't wrap my mind around that dude. How fucking good his releases are. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut.
No, you're good.
Wait, should we timestamp that? Sorry.
Oh no, don't worry.
Yeah, you're chilling.
I'm keeping a lock on any words right now.
I also got the AI thing in Premiere that can, like, I don't know, write a whole transcript, and so I'll also search the transcript.
Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, so I can like put the video like when we edit, and also the audio or whatever, because I record the audio separate because it's better quality. And when I'm just editing, you can run a tool on Adobe Premiere on the audio, and it will like generate a transcript for each person speaking. And you can also like and what I'll do is I'll just like search curse words and it like finds them.
So you're using Premiere for video, and then audio, something else.
Audio, I use just Adobe Audition because I pay for like the suite. So it's like, might as well just use the Adobe programs.
Okay. I would love to know what paying for auditions like, because like Audition otherwise is kind of like funny. It's like, well, it's just really basic, I guess, but
it's very basic. I don't like make music or anything. So like, I really only use it for like, I guess just, I take the audio. I don't even know anything about like audio processing either. So I just use the presets and I'm like, all right, sounds good enough to me.
Yeah. I mean, presets. Yeah. Like I've recently been getting into VSTs, and like I downloaded this Arturia pack where they have these classic synths, the ARP 2600, which is like an old, synth.
Don't the bitch and Bajas use that on some of their stuff?
They might recording, not live, but like Behringer makes a new one anyway. But the VST, you can download it and it's a real skin, and it has presets and it shows you how to this preset's patched, so you can see where VCOs and like VCAs like go into each other, and like I don't know. It also has the sequencer hooked up, and I've been getting really into that. But presets are the thing that I start from and shit. So I mean,
yeah,
great starting point.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I really should learn how to like base my editing off of the presets and go further than that, because I noticed that like when I do use presets, it doesn't always like do exactly what I want it to. But
so Matt, you do more visual stuff
I mean, I do a lot more of the writing stuff when it comes to that. That's what kind of puts me. I'm all in it for that aspect, just kind of watching the FX. What I do if I have to edit audio is I just use the shoddiest, shout out to the freest of free Audacity. Love my absolute.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was using before too.
Preset a very particular compressor at like about a 2.5 or 2.7. I did take, and I have played with Pro Tools, but it's coming up on 3 years, and I was not in it to learn real sound stuff. But use that to beef up the vocal. Use a cheap little mic here, or I just do vocal into the MacBook. You do that with a compressor, and then you just down the amplifier a bit to make it not as loud or not as hitting the red, and that's good enough. That's just a real solid absolute mid like that is. You could not ask for more mid, but that gets the job done. And
for sure.
Love that. Also big shout out to it's Pure Magnetic Tapes. With every tape you get from those guys, they give you another random plugin that you think you can use in Audacity.
Oh, that's kind of sick. What the heck?
That's a great label. Love those guys for what they've been doing. But again, I don't really play around with too much stuff, or I'm getting to a point where I'll occasionally play with just stuff in Audacity. I'll take I took the drum from Paid in Full, which is, again, that's a fucking James Brown drum, I think, and just sped it up, played it around.
Double field, yeah.
Love that. That's where I come from with audio, just totally like messing around for kicks.
And then so you guys like mainly write and kind of like about it, and
yeah,
you guys run.
I write. Thomas curates and book shows.
Yeah, okay, cool. I like
those kinds of DIY.
I have to say, like, I've going through the interviews, like, there's so many homies on it. It's crazy. Like, And then people, I was like, whoa, like Leah Cole's on it, and I love her.
Leah's sick.
Oh, new album's gonna be great. That new one, American Dreams, next month's phenomenal.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I think you had Dougie Poole, Forest Management.
Dude, Dougie Poole was an old one, but hell yeah, sick.
Oldie.
Just to like kind of highlight like variety that you guys do. Like, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, we do a lot of different stuff. I mean,
Dog. Oh fuck, I played with them once.
Yeah. Oh really? That's sick. They're legends.
That was a fun one for us. Kudos to those guys. They're low-key geniuses. It took me a bit to get what they were going for, but
oh man,
I mean, with that vision.
They brought another realm to Chicago when they came here. They came here with that dude. Oh my gosh, what's I'm not gonna remember. He's on Wharf Cat. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
He's from Florida. He's like glasses and he's really funny, clowny.
Oh crap!
It's like Joey Agresta or something. I don't know.
No.
He wasn't the guy that was there on January 6th. Worthcat had one artist that was at January 6th.
Really? Who was that? That was funny.
They like dropped him. I think I forget who it was.
It was Jeffrey Zaggers. That was Georgia musician Jeffrey Zaggers. Let's take a look. Wow, Pitchfork doesn't even give you a photo of him. That's tragic. Oh no.
We got to remember. No, it was man. He makes really crazy, almost like 8-bit music.
All right, let me look it up.
It's okay. It's Cabo Boing. Cabo Boing. Have you heard of this guy?
I can't recall a Cabo Boing release.
Oh my god.
Hype me up.
Okay. How do I describe Cabo Boing? Like, first of all, nicest dude ever. But like, it's I don't know. Have you heard that Jeff Wisher album where he's like sings like it's like AI country songs?
No, that sounds sick.
One for us.
I can't use the word, but it's really effed up. Like, okay. Do we have like a chat here? Okay.
You can use the chat function.
Yeah, throw something in the chat.
This is cool. I like the chat thing. And I mean, like Macula Dog, they have like a crazy show. Like when I saw them, they use like floppy disks also.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm glad we found out. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but Cabo Boing is like next level cool shit.
Oh my god.
And so is Horde. I like Horde a lot. Records.
Oh, wait a second. I know Cabo Boing.
Yeah,
I know this. Real Gems for Little Jewels. Yes.
Yeah.
I had heard about this release last year from Post Trash. This is a great cover. This is some brilliant cornball stuff.
Yeah, it's a cornball. Like, right? It's like, I see, the thing is, like, I really like, I admire things that don't, because it's really easy to be bad and not, and like funny. But like, if there's an element that's like, I don't know, if things that are good and funny, to me, that's just like beyond like everything. I don't know why. I think it's like so much better than
they've been tabs out covered. Mike Haley loves them. He knows them from years ago.
Yeah. And so they went on, this dude went on tour with Macula Dog.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
They kind of put Chicago in a spin when they came through. It was insane. Macula Dog. So there's two guys, right? They had these like cameras on.
They like create their own visuals or whatever with like the cameras of like
there's like they have a feed and it's like I don't know. Yeah, it was really cool.
The entire thing being so excessive, it's like a new spin on glam to me. It really took me as like it cracked me up.
I think that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, glam. They were also kind of off-putting, like for like.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't really, I didn't mind. Like I didn't know if they were in character or what, but like they were hilariously off-putting. Like,
I think that also plays into another aspect of why I love their stuff is that it's grotesque. Having like doing really weird, eerie, or grotesque stuff. Those are to me kind of those benchmarks that I love seeing from weird pop, and it's really hard to get to.
It is, yeah.
And so for them to attack it at that angle, I was like, oh no, this is kind of amazing, but I can see why a lot of people are like off put by it.
Yeah. Yeah. I would, when like the aggressive or like harsh element is like more in the forefront than like the accessible element, like pop. To me that's more my MO. Like I like that. I like when the accessible element is like more understated, I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
That is I don't really do any of that. I just really appreciate it. Like Chicago is insanely weird. There's a lot of weird
I think that honestly we've had so many people from Chicago on the show, or just like that we've chatted with on each other's shows and stuff.
I saw Dan Weiss was on here.
Yeah, insane. I think that Chicago has like the craziest scene, and it's not even just like out there shit. It's also just like there's indie shit, like everything. You know what I mean? Like
shit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of room to like it's a huge city, yet it's not really like money's not dictating like what you're necessarily like doing. Like my rent, I don't even like to say how much my rent is, because it's like I basically work as little as I can just because I like having a lot of time to myself, and I can do that here. And this environment really is like nurturing for that kind of thing. But I don't know. I've also I also don't have health insurance.
It's something that it's like I got because I read the Cranky book, and that covers Chicago in the 90s. It does more of a job talking about Chicago in the 90s than actually talking about the Cranky roster, shockingly. So Bruce is like,
oh, cool. I'd like to read that. What's it called?
It's called You're With Stupid. That is the name of it. You're With Stupid. That was the name they came up with. It was, I think was like a Cranky motto or like a rejected one that Bruce liked. But
yeah.
It's funny again you bring that up because, and again, Chicago, it keeps coming up as like a central thing in the show because we do talk to musicians from Chicago. I know that you originally, I believe, came from Kansas. I'm getting that right.
Yeah.
What brought you from there to Kansas? Like, what were some of kind of your DIY upbringing stuff in Kansas, if at all?
So I mean, like, I'm just like from Kansas City burbs, but like I went, like in high school, I was in like the marching band and the jazz band. I played trumpet, but then I also played guitar. And then, of course, obligatory ska band that played Battle of the Bands.
Dude, every person we've had on the show, I feel like that. Yeah, I don't know. They've all had ska bands. It's kind of sick.
It's obligatory. It's fine. We won a lot of big checks, big foam checks for like $200.
Dude, that's sick.
It's hilarious. You're like, it's a huge check. $200. I don't know.
Yeah.
But and then I went to Kansas State University, which is like in Manhattan, Kansas, which like sucked at like ass. Like that town is like, but I will say this, that's pretty much where like my DIY kind of like roots started, because basically I made friends with like a crew, and we started like a house venue called the Ghost Parlor, and like there's bookstore that we booked. We ended up starting to get like bigger acts, like Parts and Labor came through. Like,
oh wow, that's wild.
Like, yeah, throwback. K Records was like basically in touch with us for getting like, because it was a good
spot to stop.
You go if you're going to Colorado, or if, basically it was 2 hours. It was like right in the middle of Kansas. But that ran its course, and then we actually moved to San Francisco for like 9 months, and
this is like after you graduated, or? Yeah.
And then that was like 2006.
Whoa.
And I lived in like, it was I know you guys live in California, and I'd like to hear your opinion, but California is the most bizarre zone to me because of like how like, what's the word? like nice it is, you know, and it's like there's all these people who are like entitled. They think they're entitled to like living in this nice thing, and it's like I'm not saying no one doesn't, but like it was just so weird for me as like a Midwesterner to go there and be like, why do I deserve this constantly like 60-degree weather?
Yeah.
But then you start seeing like the disparity between like the tech industry and like homeless people and like drugs.
Oh yeah. I feel like also the Bay is like a wild place that I don't know, I guess you moved to because it's like really amplified there. You know what I mean?
2006 kind of was like kind of right when this like, it wasn't like when it hit boom, but it was like
starting to take off with like Apple
people
and
like the tech industry was like, it was like, we still like, there was no disillusionment yet. It was, but like still tons of like disparity between the, you know, homeless and like tons of, you know, I don't know. It was a weird zone.
The series of contradictions play to certain things in the state for certain. Again, it's like also notice the regional sounds. San Francisco, because of tech, was huge for rave, where it's like Sacramento, Modesto was huge for nu metal. Those
yeah.
And so like you have that already, and I was like, yeah, Tom's and I
music when I was there. Like I didn't even know what to do. It was like I had no ends. Like I went with this band and we didn't know anyone, and like it was I don't know. It was really weird.
It's funny where it's like, again, I'm thinking now of like the Rapture who moved from San Francisco and they drove all the way to New York because they were like, we got to be big in New York, and then they signed $1 million contract, right time, right place. But like inland California is generally a very bleak drive, smog filled. Just
inland California is trash.
Like, wow, this is purgatory.
I shouldn't say it's trash. Sorry,
it's the same kind of purgatory that parallels like inland New Mexico, inland Arizona, West Texas. It's all. I mean, they have their own regional flavors of it. But it is that same kind of thing where it's like, yeah, Thomas and I live in these coastal metropolises that stole a bunch of water to succeed and also were generally baffling. And it's like,
so would you say like if it's not really nice and like paradise land, it's like really bleak? I don't know.
Yeah, I
not
feel
entirely.
like
I still think there's like a beauty of sorts in a I don't know. It's not fair to romanticize all of that, but there is a heart to Modesto, a heart to Fresno, a heart to Vallecito. I think there is a good to these places, but it also they're totally. It's like all agriculture.
They're agriculture cities. Like that's like California is like one of like the main industries in California is agriculture. Like the whole Central Valley is like getting destroyed by how much crops they're like growing and stuff. And that's kind of just like, you know, what those cities are. I mean, it makes sense, like the demographic, like, you know, all those cities were started by like farmers and stuff. So it just kind of like makes sense. Like, I don't know who, like just the demographics and stuff that are over there, you know?
So wait, where's nu metal from? Sacramento?
Oh God, is it Modesto? The Modesto area, wherever the guys are, and wherever the Deftones guys made White Pony.
Chino.
Chico's sick. Yeah, Chico's up north.
Chico's reminds me of like Deftones, I guess, but that's why.
Yeah, Chico's like, I had some friends that like went to school there, so I'd go up there every now and then. Chico's actually like sick. It's like considered like Central Valley, but it's almost like more like NorCal vibes. You know what I mean?
I bet the Guitar Center there is like massive.
You gotta come to the Temecula Valley Guitar Center. That's where legends are.
Oh, really? What do they got there? Is that like, I feel like every single like Guitar Center within like 100-mile radius of LA, everyone that works there looks like Dave Navarro or like,
oh man,
like, yeah, I don't know,
dude. Guitar Center HQ is in Thousand Oaks, baby, like 15 minutes from my house.
Really?
I had a friend that worked there.
You should Airbnb out your house to be like, if that's, you know, it's like minutes away from Thousand Oaks.
From the Thousand Oaks Guitar Center headquarters.
That's a good bit. I'd be there in a heartbeat.
I had a friend that worked there for a while.
You know that Kohl's bought guitars?
Did?
Kohl's did?
Yeah, like during the
wow, that's sick.
Maybe right before. I know. And like, because they were like almost like being dramatic about how much they were going under like all the time. They were like, we're done. And then they just wouldn't be. And like
Guitar Center was?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, that's too good.
They were like, yeah, they claimed it. I think it was a media stunt, but they would claim they were filing bankruptcy like every other fucking year. Like it was like basically like I was like, I thought you already filed for it, dude. But I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, Coles eventually bought it like right during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And, like, Coles is from Milwaukee, and like it is the most like 40-year-old mother. Like,
hey, Coles Cash, baby.
Hey.
See, when Coles came to the West Coast, they destroyed Mervin's. That was our 40-year-old mother. And
True.
Yeah.
Ages.
Mervin's though. That sounds like sounds like
dude. The Mervin's in Simi Valley was kind of sick because like when it went out of business after like the Kohl's opened in Simi Valley, which is where I'm from, but it was sick because it was just this big ass like big box store like warehouse like space, and homeless people found out how to get inside and they're just living in there. So sick. And like they found this place that was like never going to be used again. Right. And they were just posted up so hard.
Mervin's have like, did their buildings have a style? I've never heard of this actually. Did they have electronics?
It's like a TJ Maxx, dude.
I don't think they had electronics, but they definitely sold like Keurigs. So
yeah, it was like that type vibes. And anyways, yeah, the homeless people got busted. Unfortunately, now it's a Walmart. Just kind of sad.
Waters rights, dude. Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a middle scale department store. I've never heard of middle scale.
Middle scale.
Oh, like Robinson's May. That's another throwback.
Did Mervin's become Kohl's? Yes.
Basically, Kohl's ate them.
Kohl's, but Kohl's back to school. What up? I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. None of these places had like a Starbucks though, so that kind of.
Yeah, I only shop at Target because they have a Starbucks.
That's right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay, I got a real question here. We'll keep coming back to this because this is a good conversation.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jake, again, you're a very prolific improviser. You've got recordings all over the place, and in 2018. I know earlier we were talking about label aesthetics, and you put together a vinyl, which is a little bit out of character for a tape label that does a lot of SNES cover art. Hasu Mountain. It's part of a 5-piece free jazz combo for quintet called ADT. What was the energy around that release? What brought you to that project?
I'm glad you brought that up because when I was thinking about everything I've done before this, I don't know why I didn't think of that, but it is so important, actually.
Was that like the crux release, you'd say, or kind of like
well, like as far as like that getting, yeah. Well, so like, are you Ben Billington? Are you familiar with him? He, Quick Sales.
Oh yeah, Quick Sales. I've got that house on tape. Love it.
He was like a big head in Chicago that did a lot of improvising. His group Tiger Tree was pretty formative. They ran a space at the same time I ran a space called the Mopri. So they were doing like the Mopri did like weird kind of like it was always weird experimental, either like free jazz stuff or like more harder stuff. But I would go there a lot, and then basically we got together with some other improvisers that just kind of came along that would go to shows. They weren't really like Adam Tramposh was the keyboardist. Kyle Druin was the electronic person, and then Carlos Chavaria was the saxophonist. Basically, yeah, it was electronics, sax, drums, guitar. I did guitar. Sometimes I did bass. Actually, I started out on trumpet with them. I used to play trumpet a lot. In Ono, there was this like seminal band in Chicago named Ono.
Oh, you played trumpet in Ono? That's crazy.
Yeah, actually, P. Michael bought me a trumpet because I didn't have one.
Whoa.
They wanted a trumpet player. He knew I had mentioned that I played it, back in the day, and then he bought me this little pocket trumpet, and then I loved playing it for a while. I was more into like processing it and getting wild and weird with it, and I basically built a whole electronic setup around the trumpet. with them, and then also during ADT. But then I kind of switched to guitar with that because the trumpet is like a lot of like more wind or like mouth embouchure oriented. If you don't practice for like a week, you're like at square one. Like it's your embouchure is so it's a little bitch. It's like I would get so frustrated because I wouldn't be able to like, do or go as far. And so and I was just getting way more into the guitar. So then ADT was basically guitar, drums, sax, piano, but we all kind of like had our own. Definitely everyone brought their own like style. I think everyone had their own style, which was like, there's a lot of history in Chicago with improvisation, jazz improvisation, like Fred Anderson, and also like, I mean, the whole history of like the AACM and like, basically, there's this very rich culture of free jazz here. But I think like it, in a way, it can get kind of samey unless each player is like really distinct, and each player was really distinct in ADT. Everyone had their own thing, and there was what was interesting too was I remember there was a big like kind of, there was a little tension, actually maybe a lot of tension between like certain people in ADT wanted more direction, and then certain people wanted it to be completely free. In the end, it was great. Like we basically recorded that record with Cooper Crane from Bitch and Bajas.
Oh, great. Sick.
And absolutely critical recording guy.
Yeah. Oh man. We recorded at his studio. He had just moved into the studio that he kind of like lives at now, in Pilsen. And we borrowed all this like really expensive gear. We just made a cool. That's what I love. That's why I love working with him and other people. I love like making makeshift studios and like in different spaces, and, like, because it'll sound different. And basically, I like going into studios, like big studios. They're very consistent. Some kind of whatever. What I really like doing is like taking like certain preamps or like certain mics and just like going to a weird space and seeing what happens. I don't know. Anyway, Cooper's really down to do that. So he did that with us. We recorded for like, I mean, it must have been like 12 or 13 hours worth of stuff. And it was really, really like, I really racked my brain, like I assembled like a lot of that record myself off of, via like takes and stuff. And it is a lot more like, it's like stitched together than you would think. No, actually, like, but I like, the thing is like, I knew that we played a lot and I knew the band. Like, I could really figure out where our peaks and valleys were, which allowed me to like stitch things better because if you stitch things when you don't know it, it's like, it can be jarring. But if you do know when these like waves come and go, it's a lot easier. Adam, the keyboardist, did one track on the B side, I think. But it was like really, I was really surprised actually when that record, when we did those sessions, because they were way more melodic in any ways that we'd ever kind of like, than we'd ever recorded. I guess whenever we get like played a show, it would always surprise me how melodic sometimes it would get. But yeah, like, I don't know. Everyone had their own sense of melody. The keyboardist particularly, I put out a tape for him when I did Teen River that was like maybe one of the most popular tapes. I still get like hundreds of streams on it. And he went by American Landscape Painting. And it's like the best piano music of all time. It's so amazing. I would check it out.
That's sick.
ECM jazz level stuff there.
Well, I'd like, no, it's more like really, it's like Caretaker meets like,
there you go.
it's like Caretaker meets like I don't know, more like I don't know, like more songwriting, like yeah. It's an incredible record. He's like one of those geniuses that basically he's also from Kansas.
Oh, that's sick.
But and then, you know, Ben Billington is his own beast. Like his playing is very, very, very like distinct. And I always like, I always can get going with him. Like, you know, and what, I don't know, he's really just so good at like, and even, you know, I in my older age, you know, I'm like 37 now, but like he has like, he every time I hear him play, I'm like, okay, I actually do still want to play, you know, like I'm not like, sometimes it's really hard for me to get to play, but he's really, I always love playing with that dude. And then, yeah. So that, but then, yeah, we put that together and House You Mountain put it out. And we got I was going to say another cool thing about Chicago is like, there's like kind of going back to what we were saying at the beginning, like there's so many like illustrators and comic artists in Chicago that like after a while, like 2012, 13, just really started to integrate themselves with the music scene. So much so that they had like comic artists had their own like events. And it'd be like comic readings and then maybe like one band or like, there's this really famous thing called Brain Frame, that this girl, Lyra Hill put together. But basically I loved working with illustrators, and we worked with this really good illustrator, Ed Rivera. He made the ADT artwork, which I think is like pretty remarkable artwork. Like I think it's very remarkable. Very glad to have that on like a 12 by 12 thing. You know, I'm not like, I like vinyl, but like these days I don't really care. Like I like CDs and tapes because CDs in my car, tapes. And like, I don't know. I really love that that's on vinyl. I think that's a great vinyl. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. Of course. Have you, do you have that vinyl or like just?
Because I don't really do a ton of vinyl. I did.
Yeah.
Because Thomas hosted her. And again, we just got back from Unwound last night. I did get the Sonora Pine 2 vinyl.
Riley put that out. Yeah.
That Riley had put out. And yeah, I really actually got to commend the quality of it. That is leaps. Also at this point, you can't get a CD of it for cheap in the US off Discogs. So
Thomas, do you collect vinyl or buy vinyl?
Yeah, I listen to records. My record player, it's an old like AR, acoustic research.
The audio research?
No. I think it's acoustic research maybe.
Acoustic research, yeah.
But they're like these really sick, like simple turntables that like some dude had just given me. And it definitely needs to be like, I don't know, the contacts need to be cleaned up. I think the wiring needs to be fixed. It just kind of like stopped working. So I still collect the vinyl because like, you know I'm going to listen to it soon, but I just haven't recently. But lately I've been like more into just like tapes and CDs because they're cheaper. And Maddie has insane amount of tapes. But
hell yeah.
Yeah, I just installed like a
fourth.
I have like, I used to dub tapes for people, like labels. Like I have so many like blank tapes.
Oh, that's
like,
sick.
Oh, wow.
I also used to like, I would say I had a problem. I used to collect tape decks. At one point I had like 35 tape decks.
That's dope.
What was the major model you were collecting there?
Well, I mean, I would say when I had, let's say at the time I had the most where the most were working. On it, like Nakamichi was the one I had the most of, which was great. But the thing about them is like when they're not like 90s versions and beyond. The thing about theirs is like it's a computer mechanism, and it's not like their transports are not mechanical at a certain point. So it's like when the pause or stop button is stuck, it's like it's not like a mechanical thing you can fix.
Oh God,
You
I'm
have to
trying
like
to
figure it out like digitally, basically. I don't know,
I think I've got an 80s BX
but
100 down here, and it's got ghost motor syndrome. I don't
yeah,
know.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
And that right there, since May of 2021, I've been like, cool. I got to spend $200 to $300 to get this fixed from a guy in South San Diego County, or I just spend 150 to $200 on another one if one shows up on Craigslist, and hope this doesn't happen again. Like, it's not a fun cycle, but the decks are good. The mixtapes the couple I made on it truly were great. I use a Yamaha 400, and that's good.
Yeah,
that obviously, and again,
the best one I have ever, the one that I've always kept, it's sounded the best and it's never given me anything, as a Luxman. It's German.
Interesting.
This German deck, Luxmans. If you ever find a Luxman, like, grab it. They're really great. Like Onkyo actually makes really good ones. So does Harman Kardon.
My dad has a Harman Kardon that he won't let me use.
Yeah,
it's sick.
Well, let's use it.
I know. I just need to go. I need to go take that thing,
down
dude.
The street.
Yeah. I bought a teak, a nice teak in a wood case off some guy on like Facebook Marketplace, and cool. I really liked it because it had this like really sick wood case, and it just has like the metal face, the brushed metal face, and everything. Yeah. Is it play well? Yeah. I had to get it repaired. I
feel like with those, the speed gets funky a lot.
Yeah, so it was like all fucked. I bought it off like some guy, like I said, and he was like, "Oh, it works great," and I took it home. Didn't work. I also should have tried it when I was at his house, but like whatever. I only spent like $50 on it, but
that's cool. You guys can take it to places, because here there's one guy in the like far suburbs, and he's like a mess.
Oh, really?
No.
There's like this. There's this dude.
Our guy in San Diego is a mess. He's the kind of guy that since COVID, he's like, okay, I'm open 5 days a week. You got to make an appointment. And then when you get in there and he's got his Mensa certificate, and you're like, oh, sick, you're in.
Dude, fuck Mensa. Oh my God.
And that right there, it's like, I had a Walkman issue and $20 for a diagnosis for him to be, and he's like, he wanted $140 to repair a Walkman that, look, some of those repairs made sense, but the belt replacement, especially on that XFM 197 model, no, you can do that. Go on.
Got your models down.
It's the one I keep on my mind. The other model I use is
dude, those are the ones.
This is, I mean, it's this model with this particular
the Sport. Sony, is that Sony Sport?
Sony Sport from early 90s or late 80s, and a friend of mine just found like her mom's, and I'm like, yeah, with the auto reverse and everything. Those will last you for sure. The thing about Walkman is that they are so you shouldn't really be jostling around a unit that has mechanisms like tape decks, because it's like they're so like specifically like aligned and like but those are really good. This is what I've learned is like this guy does have. I've had some pitch hiccups with these guys, but also it's super because of the thing down here, and I've removed the main part. It's easy to get a 3000 kilohertz signal that goes very strong.
You know what I've learned from having probably close to 100 tape decks is that majority of them, if you just put them in a corner for a year or so, they'll like work at the normal like same with like guitar pedal, or like, I don't know, not every one of them, but like I have like the older they are, like 80s, 70s stuff, if you just like let it be for a while, it's like they get jealous or something and they start working. I don't know. It's amazing.
This gives me some huge hope for the Nakamichi. Maybe I'll have to.
Well, those are, so if they're 90s though, it's not. Yeah.
Oh no. This one at least is the late 80s. I can confirm.
Yeah. The cassette decks too. The cassette 2s of the Nakamichis have the best recording heads. I don't know if you're into recording on tape decks, but like those are really good. Really, like record heads are hard to find on like tape decks, because they're either really like I don't know, dirty or like they're just cheap. But like Nakimichi's had the best taste, like and so did this Luxman, and also Onkyo. Yeah,
I just bought a new car stereo for my 2004 off some dude on Reddit, so I could listen to the tapes in my car.
Like a aftermarket stereo.
No, it's like the OEM one for like my Toyota 4Runner. And when I bought my 4Runner, the cassette deck was broken, and some guy on like Reddit was like, would anybody even buy this, like on the 4th gen like Toyota 4Runner forum or something? And I just responded.
Were you
and I was
searching
like,
for it?
No, but like it was always in the back of my mind that like eventually I want to get one. And I just commented like, I would buy that. And some dude messaged me and was like, hey, I actually have like mine, you know, like, do you just like want this thing? I'll sell it to you for like $15 or something. Like, I'm not going to use it. And he's
did you install it or did you get it installed?
I installed it. It wasn't too hard. You just like take off the dashboard and just like put it in.
Is it just like RCA or what is it? Or is it like bare wire?
It's like, it's like these weird like harness cables sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think there's like one aux cord that you plug into the back of it too, which is kind of funny. I don't know where it all goes, probably the speakers and stuff, but it sounds really good. And also what I thought was crazy is like this little tape deck and like, I don't know, this like OEM stereo auto reverses, dude, or like it'll like play. And like, I was thinking that like when the tape ends, I'm going to have to flip it. It just like starts playing the other side just automatically.
That's tight.
That's why I love this as well.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck is this technology? This is
interesting.
So sick.
You don't really see them you don't really generally see auto reverse in Walkman, and you don't generally see it in car stereos.
Yeah. Insane.
Y'all got it covered here. Y'all part of my crew.
My grandma's car had it, and I was using that listening to Thin Lizzy back in December. And I was
nice.
It's the greatest.
Dude, I would love to hear Thin Lizzy on tape. Actually, I don't think I ever have. I love Thin Lizzy.
That was some good. I was thrilled to find that at the swap meet for $5 and get Jailbreak, which is a super common tape.
I've seen it for sure. I would, man, they sound so good. Like in general, have you ever like thought that Jailbreak sounds like the verse to Reelin' in the Years? You know, like the Steely Dan song? Like,
don't worry, let me just pull that over here. Yeah, don't worry. We got the rack of Dan.
The rack of Dan.
Rack.
So funny.
Wow.
That entire rack cost me like $20.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the Steve Albini discourse.
I mean, I went ahead and covered Deacon Blues and then tagged him in it when that was going down. I personally I recorded at Electrical Audio back in actually about a year ago now, but he was there. He was I love that dude. I mean, he can have an opinion. He also, it's not like he doesn't really like. I don't know. It's not like he's like trying to like actually like say why he doesn't like it. He's like, I don't know. I don't like it. Yeah. Like, I think he just doesn't like him. And that's like, I don't know, totally fine to me.
It's definitely fine.
I mean, I've got, again, on the other side, I love a lot of Steve Albini stuff. Some of it has aged poorly. Some of it, especially anything really shellac or beyond, to me just gets better and better as it goes on. And his opinions on music come from a different time and place, and it's real situated, particular mindset of like, hey, I've been living with this for 30 years and you're not convincing me. And I'm like, also, hey, I wasn't even trying to, and I kind of respect that. So I find his entire thing very precious, very endearing, and just like,
I don't really like, everyone has their own aesthetic, and I appreciate that. It would be weird if we all had the same aesthetic. What I really appreciate about him is like his ability to basically, he's very eloquent on like why the music industry is such bullshit. Like he's really good at saying like at the breakdown, and like and he's a great writer, like especially when it comes to that. And I mean, I have the same views about Spotify as him, even though I use Spotify. Like, it's like they're very like, it's basically ruining a lot of like I don't know, magic and shit. But I don't know, like, see, I'm not very eloquent about it, but he's very good at it, and I really appreciate that. And it's not just like technical. It is technical, but he's like also knows how to be like talk about feeling with like the music industry. And he's like such a hard worker. Like he basically is like, he's really not, I mean, he probably does get royalties on stuff, but he's more about being like, you came to me, we're going to do this session. If it gets big, it gets big. But like, I'm doing this session now, like I'm engineering this session and like, I'm not necessarily worried about royalties. I think there might be certain things with royalties, but he's more concerned, like with like in utero and like that Pixies record. Like I don't he gets very nominal like royalties from that stuff. He's really just about trying to find new good stuff. And like and like when I was there several months ago, he was trying out a lot of new gear, and he was like, he has like the ability to do that. He'd also just won this giant poker like tournament.
Yes, I heard about that as well.
Had a bunch of money to like blow on like something. I don't know. He got something really, really ridiculous, like some kind of dumb I don't know. I forget what
I've got two Albini things that kind of go with the recording 90s stuff. Really, it's like, so all of the stuff he was doing really from the late 80s to early 90s, it was all building up to him building or buying and building electrical audio. And then the first bands he has in there is Low. He invites Low and is like,
perfect example.
Right there, genius.
The Low, I mean, I wouldn't say they're collaborations, but he definitely allows for a environment where certain artists that are of the Low kind of ilk just really can just blossom like so well.
And again, Secret Name is like probably my favorite thing they ever recorded. Just absolutely gets me every time. And again, it's like the Dirty 3 album from there. Another phenomenal example.
I love the Magnolia Electric Company record he did. Just like random things. Like I think that record, the Magnolia Electric Company, when they're like going from Songs Ohio to that name, that has my favorite snare sound of all. Like I reference that snare, like it's like my reference. So
that's sick.
It's great. And yeah.
Then there's two other 90s albums he's done that it's like, I talk to people online who come with the weirdest criticisms for Rid of Me because it's too quiet. And it's like, what? I don't know, because the tape has always sounded fine, but like Wedding Present Sea Monsters is another baffling. Like, why is Albini working with this band? But also, why are they making probably the best noise pop album of the 90s? And it's not talked about or really considered or given its due, but like,
I do forget. I mean, I forget about them for sure. You're right.
Only people online that like on Discord chewed me in it over the period of like a year. Forced me to buy the tape, basically. And I listen, I'm like, yeah, you guys were right. Absolutely.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. He's such a head around town. Like I really appreciate him. He's really a good person. And, I'll be kind of curmudgeon, but he knows it and he's fun. He's fun to be around. Otherwise his main studio, partner Taylor is like a great dude. He's in this other band. He's in this band called Paper Mice that I play with a bunch. They're really great. They do like, I don't know, they do like crazy like marching bands in there, and like they just try to do like different stuff. And that's something I just have to really be like, okay, yeah, it's like I don't know, it doesn't have to be like the same old stuff.
Yeah,
they really try to find kind of like challenges and I don't know, in a variety of ways. I mean, Low, could easily be looked at as just like a indie band, but like I think they're a great addition to the variety that comes out of electrical audio.
And then again, with like the shellac, first off, finally got to see Shellac last year on 9/11 in San Diego, and Leaps and Bounds was probably the most professional performance I saw all year. Partially because Bob takes the questions. Bob does questions, but they have an audience that's not awful. Somehow, no drunks, no yelling, no dipshits that show up to a Shellac show. And then
Yeah.
He's always been very, and this is again, just like, this is somebody doing the right thing very quietly, and you just see it on the tours over the years. They just have female openers. It's just
right.
He has a roster of people he's worked with from electrical audio and has a deep love and appreciation for. Always brings them on.
For sure.
And again, that's why it's like, you can't get. I see the Steely Dan stuff and all of the pearl clutching. It's like,
I mean, I tend to agree. I tend to agree, like with him. I think I made a post, but like, it would suck to work with Steely Dan in the studio.
Oh God!
And I think that's right. Where he's coming from as someone who works as an engineer. That would suck. Like, he made a really good point, and like, I've worked with people who, like, and this is kind of, if we want to talk about my philosophy, which there's very, it's definitely my own philosophy, I guess. Well, anyway, he, was saying basically how you're at the whim of like a visionary's, like, they could be having a good day or a bad day or like a good moment or a bad moment. And it's like, if this guitar solo, maybe they weren't even paying attention. Like, these kind of artists are so fickle, and it's like, we're just at the whim of these like people who are considered what I think is so ridiculous, visionaries. Like, I personally have a hard time with people that are like visionaries, who are like, have a vision where they're like, okay, this album, I like some direction, but like, to be like, it's going to be like exactly like this. I have this thing in my head. It's got to be like that. I think that's like, you're limiting yourself so hard to like the world that is around you. And I mean, I guess if you want to just do it, it's in your head. That is one thing for sure. But it's so much more interesting to me when someone interacts with their like environment and their community, and like, chants and things that like surprise you, and like, like when it doesn't like come to you exactly like what you feel like it should. I think that's so weird. I don't really, and I feel like I do hear that in Steely Dan a lot. However, I think a lot of times visionaries don't know that they're being like, they don't know they're being tricked. They're tricking themselves, because like Larry Carlton would play a solo, and I guarantee to you he didn't, that wasn't like what they thought it would be. Or the bass player who they told not to play like slap bass, and he just did it anyway, and they kept it, and they didn't realize it, and because it sounds good.
Yeah.
But again, there's still it's like watching that classic albums on Asia, and you see all the musicians they work with are like the solo for Peg, and they sit there until they realize like, oh, we needed this guy to do a Hawaiian solo, and that was going to be the vibe, or the Purdy shuffle, and the brilliance of that. But like, yeah, they lots of times, maybe not necessarily Steely Dan, but there are a lot of artists that are like, they'll be like, they know what they're like, they know what it is, I know what it has to be, and this isn't it. It's the like, something because of what it's not, which I understand. The binary opposition is very strong. Knowing something because of what it's not, like, that's strong. But if you're just like, well, I know exactly what it should be, and that's not it, and that's not it, and that's not it, and that's not it, and then you're like, oh, that's it. It's like, I don't know if you actually really knew that was it. You just like find that good now. I don't know. Like like a lot of these people who are like visionaries, like, are so annoying to me. It's so much more like fulfilling, I think, on everyone's part to be like, this was a true collaboration, and I couldn't have done this without this person. Or like, this person's voice was what made me realize something about this song, change directions. Changing directions, I think, is something that happens to me like every 5 minutes when I'm writing music. It can be hard though. Like, for me, I'm a kind of extreme. Like, I do a lot of like takes, and I pare it down. It's a lot of like subtraction, deduction. Yeah. Like with Rehearsal Park, for instance, like, that 2 tracks, one's 27 minutes, 27 and a half minutes, one's like 17 and a half. That probably in all took me 3 years to make. Like,
the project files that I started were probably about 3 years ago. And it's a lot of like, it started one way. I don't really like have, like, I would say with like the title track, or I would say with the first track, Nothing Tells Us So. The only thing I was going for at the beginning was I was like thinking a lot about the caretaker, and I was just like thinking about. So I was like, I built like I use Ableton, and I like to use the devices you can build in there. It's really fun to like make your own instruments. So I made an upright, like the upright bass on the record is like from a device I made.
Oh, that's sick!
Brilliant.
It's like a MIDI device I made. So it's not real. It's all pretty much everything's programmed except guitar and sax.
Were you recording the guitar in your house? I think in another interview you've done, you've talked about at least one home you were living in 2020 is it had a big roof. It was good for recording.
Yeah, I've been in this house since 2017. The downstairs is like an amazing room that has high ceilings. I learned a lot about recording and engineering through my friend Brian Sulpizio. I used to be in his band, Health and Beauty.
Yeah, saw that.
And his records are amazing. We've recorded a lot of like drums sound amazing here. We recorded the Brett Kuntz album here, which I also play in. John, you can just get a really bigger sound, like as instead of like, I guess of a smaller living room. He's also really good at miking and making it seem like that. But I was able to get different guitar sounds basically because of different mics, different preamps. I like collect preamps. Like, I work in sound, so we sell gear, and like I basically like to try different. I'll buy like a Neve clone. Like the one I like right now is a 1073 clone. This Heritage makes a 1073 clone, which is like a Neve channel strip from like the 70s. It's very, very colorful. Sorry. No, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's a Neve channel strip?
So like in like consoles, like in studios, right? Like the big, multi-track boards.
Yeah.
Neve was like a big company that made really good
preamps
boards back then. Yeah, like their preamps were in the board, like channel.
Oh, okay.
So like the channel, like channel 1, 2, 3, those all have their own kind of like preamps. And then this one preamp called the 1073, it's this really famous Neve channel strip, is cloned by companies now. Heritage, I think, makes the best one for my price range. So I bought that one, and it works really well. It's very, very colorful. It's really like rich.
So how does that work? So you just like plug your mic into like the preamp or something, and then you run that into like a mixer or something like that, or?
Yeah. So okay. I mean, it's just mic into the preamp. So it's like a little rack unit,
Oh, okay. It's like a rack unit or something. Okay.
Here, I'll show you here. Actually, I can't. But
yeah, it's fine.
Basically, you got to pick the right mic, though, I think, and then you really have to figure out your setting in your room and placement. So, but I think like the one I have doesn't really sound for me that good with like certain mics. But I found the mic that I think it sounds really good with, which I'm not gonna like disclose because I think it's kind of like a sound I have.
Yeah,
but it's really basically a lot of older preamps are really, really colorful. They're really like harmonically rich. There's a lot of distortion. It's really easy to get muddy, but they sound old, This one with the mic I use sounds so like refined old. It sounds like dance sometimes, but
that's wild.
I like to use like Universal Audio ones, or like, I don't know. There's a lot of plugins too that are good that I use, but I also programmed all the drums on the record, and I consider reamping the drums, which means you send the program drums out to a speaker and you mic the speaker and you record that. And then so you get like a room sound basically. Yeah. So besides guitar and sax, which Rob Fry played sax on this.
You mentioned that in the Bitch About.
Yeah, he did.
But
Rob.
Yeah. And he's also kind of an inspiration for a lot of like the sampling I do on like the title track, because he's actually his like job besides music. He works for a conservationist in Illinois that like basically they keep tracks of like what kind of birds and like how many birds like in around southern Illinois. So he does like bird work. He's cool. He's awesome.
Yeah, and I remember him mentioning that he's like super into birds or whatever during the interview.
So he did one of these?
Yeah, we had Bitchin' Bajas, but minus Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was him and Dan?
Yeah, him and Rob and Dan.
If Cooper were there, he was going to get so many recording questions from me. It would have been asking like, what's it like working with Bill Nace? What's like?
Wait, so is that on the website? I didn't see that one.
Oh, I haven't updated the YouTube in a bit.
Oh, okay. When was that one?
That was like a week or two ago.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. I haven't uploaded like I think like 4 episodes, but yeah, we just had them.
Oh man, Rob also just made this installation at the conservatory here about music, which is like, I gotta go see that soon before. I don't know. Yeah, basically, they're all around like amazing musicians.
Yeah,
they can't fail. Basically,
killer discography.
Did you guys go see them? Didn't they come to like the lodge room?
No, yeah, they did, dude. I booked a show up here on the 12th, and it was the same day they were like playing.
I was gutted because I was traveling up to see Thomas last week to see the Tara Jane O'Neill do all her stuff, and one of the parts of it was they were gonna play Ojai.
Oh yeah, Bitchin' Bajas was about to play Ojai, but they rescheduled it for Santa Cruz or whatever. Right. And Ojai is like like one of like the local towns up here. Would have been sick.
Is Tara like from? Is she from?
She's in LA.
No, she's in Ojai now. She told me.
And in 2019, she did a little. She played Ojai, she played LA, she played San Diego, and I missed it. But this show that she's doing right now, she's playing like 2014 Cranky material, 1997 Sonora Pine 2 material.
Dude, she played Rodon too.
The first cut off by Bible Silver Corner off that. And it's like, damn, Tara, didn't see this coming. Could not have been more thrilled because like Rusty's a huge album for me. Where Shines New Light, another huge tentpole.
I'll have to check those out. I'm very thankful for Riley because not only did he's helped me with my music, but he shows me so much. He's like such a music head.
Dude, we gotta get
so much about music from him.
We gotta get Riley on the show.
You should, man. He's so nice and he's really, really funny.
Yeah. I've been part of Tabs Out for a bit. I do the writing portion of that stuff, and so I got to briefly talk with him during the 2021 when they invited him on, and he was playing up a bit of a character that was hysterical.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he's like the OG of that guy. He's so good at like, I don't know,
he got us all riled up on CDs. We're like.
He was also part of like the improv noise scene here when we were all like, coming up. He was like very big with like Andrew Scott Young. And Ben Billington. Like they had this like ensemble called like Naked Island or something like that. But yeah, like it was like, I mean, the first like I would book them at Ball Hall because I was like trading shows with them at the Mopery, and like we just had big spaces. Like I was such a like noob. Like they would go so hard. Like I don't know. Like they would like show up and like they'd be like, you have a CD case, and like just like crush Adderall in a CD case and like jam for like 10 hours. And my roommates would be like, is this just one band? I'd be like, yeah. It was a lot younger of times, but it was wild times. It was fun. I had a lot of fun with them back then. Riley was the only time I've ever seen or like heard and like liked like a whistle, like a ref whistle. Like he like played a ref whistle one time. Actually, he had a duo with Max Allison called Crazy Bread.
Oh wow, what the hell? That's sick.
I've been meaning to get that Astral Spirits tape. Just finally get
like,
it. Dogs.
They did a set and he played the whistle.
Dude, that's dope.
Crazy Bread is like such a good name. Like,
yeah, that's such a good name. What the hell?
Oh my
God. You knew though that you had wrapped up. I do want to, I guess, talk because we're at the final boss here. We should talk about this in the Blorpus just a tad bit. Rehearsal Park kicks ass. Genuinely, I wasn't going to buy the CD of it, and then he did the tape, and so I was like, oh, good, I'm going to buy it. Got stoned, listened, and said, wow, I didn't know Jake Acosta was making 1999 Thrill Jockey release for 2022, but did you know that, like, were you kind of following that, like, C and Cake, Sam Prekop, John McGentry lineage, while also, like, pitching this to Riley as, like, hey, put this out? How did it end up on Husky Pants?
Yeah, no, I like I said, I'm pretty anti, like, vision. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, when I made the record, it was done and not, it hadn't been mastered yet, but it was done before I sent it to Riley, actually. So I was like really kind of scared to ask scared to ask anyone because like I've only really ever put my own stuff out and like Housing Mountain put like the ADT thing out, but like I don't know, I just had like spent 3 years on it. It was like, you know, when you're like when you were younger, did you ever just like drag your hand on the wall and then it just became numb?
Yes.
Yeah. You're like, I don't know if I can feel this anymore. That is the way music becomes, like my music comes to me a lot of times. And then I'm like, I have no idea like if, you know, if this is good or not. Like it just sounds like,
I mean, it makes sense. You get like sensory blind to it. I mean, that happens to me with like anything I'm doing. If I work on it for so long, I'm like, I can't tell if this is good anymore. You know what I mean?
So, but luckily I like left it alone and then I like revisit. I was like, oh, this actually still hits. Like, I'm like, okay, I'll send it to Riley. And I sent Riley an email. Like we're buds. Like we've been for a long time. I just I knew he was doing like CDs. So I was like, thought it would be pretty low stakes. Turns out I just really think that like it was such a kind of magical like combination of like good music, people like Riley, sounds good on CD. Like CD, I think, because also it couldn't be on vinyl because it's like 27-minute track. It really lent itself, I think, to this to what the release it was. So I kind of pitched it to him like that, and he was definitely down. And he was he's so good. I didn't really know like how good he was at running this label until I started working with him. I knew he was good, like because he's got good distribution. He's really good at like paying me like when like every net like couple weeks with Bandcamp. And he's like, he booked me. He like flew me out to New York and like booked me a show, and like it was sold out. And like I played this, and like he was let me like stay in his bed.
That's
sick. I don't know. He's like such a solid dude. Like, like and people love him in New York. I think he's thriving there for sure. Like, I'm glad he's there. I'm glad it was good to work with him. And it's good to be like working with someone that like, I don't know, like he like actually like put thought into it. I don't know. Like, I mean, like I play with a lot of other bands. Like I played with this other band called Fran. I played this bass in this band. We just put out a record, and they're on this New York label called Fire Talk.
Hell yeah, Fire Talk's the shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know Fran. Yeah. Were you playing on the 2019 album that they did?
Yeah, and then like I put out the first Fran tape on Lake Paradise.
That was cool.
Like I you know, but
I also
like,
saw that Baby Birds Don't Drink Milk that you mentioned in the beginning was a Fire Talk band too.
yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
It definitely roots. And what I was gonna say though is Fire Talk, you know, they do their kind of like very by the book kind of like label. And they do a good job of it. But what I like about Riley is like there's like this personal element that's so like it's so not it's so like unparalleled. Like he just basically it makes my music feel more special than if it were to just be on a label that is bigger and probably doing a good job of like promoting it in the conventional way and like distribution. But like I don't know really how anyone feels about it. You know, like I know how people feel about it because of Riley, and like that is really so much more actually satisfying than like you know, because like okay, so like if I put it on a big label, it's like maybe it might sell more, but also like I don't know, like I just don't like have so much more of like a feeling of like substantialness with this, especially you know it being like just me. So I really like working with Riley. It's cool. Maybe we might do vinyl in the future. I don't know. I'd have to really like write, I think, for vinyl, I think, because I tend to write long. I like do long form kind of everything I've been writing is long form, and that I really my mentality with music is like I kind of require this amount of time to like to develop the ideas that I have. I think they usually require this like certain pacing and a certain like amount of time. But I don't know. I like maybe I'm kind of getting sick of it. So we'll see. I'd like to start exploring. I really need to start just listening to new music. I listen to my own music way too much. It's yeah.
You know, again, when we talked with Pulse Emitter, he told us that he makes his music and then he listens to it while on a hike. And you know, that's a real particular MO, and going for that vibe. I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. Okay, I get what you're doing. The curation, you needed to come back and like listen to that just to confirm it slapped. Right. And the funniest part for me was I listened to it stoned while on a walk in the rain. And I thought I had packed this new Astral Spirits tape of what's it? Miss Haga's 1996
Surprise.
to 96. And then I was like listening and I'm like, oh yeah, this Miss Haga's tape is really hitting. And then I get back and I'm like, oh, that was Jake Acosta?
Yeah, dude.
That to me was when I realized
it's like it's kind of like when you didn't know that the brownie had weed in it. It's like,
yeah, right.
That was exactly that's what Rehearsal Park is. I'm glad this had a tape release. And the CD, there's still like 3 copies on Bandcamp. So by the time this airs, hopefully they're sold out. Or hopefully people that are listening to this they pulled over their cars because this interview's been god tier. And they're like, I got to get Jake Acosta's music. But
oh, yeah. I talked a lot. I'm sorry. I mean, I had to think it was good, but I don't really do interviews. It's fun. So
yeah,
nothing tells us so is worth price of admission alone for a CD there, and I hope it stays in print.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Riley about reprinting it, but I don't see why we wouldn't. I mean, or I don't know, maybe something new. Even I kind of work fast like that, so yeah, I have new stuff that I would like to. I think I have to listen to it probably a lot. I don't know. I actually bought a CD burner recently.
Oh hell yeah!
And oh my god, game changer. Like I burn mixes. I burn I burn CDs all the time now, and like it's amazing. Like I don't know, because my car only has a CD player or radio. There's no aux or anything else. So I actually used to work with this engineer, Dave Vetrano, who works with like International Anthem.
Oh, sick.
He's a great engineer and mastering dude, but we had the exact same car, a 2008 Toyota Corolla with the same
hell yeah.
And with the same stereo, and music system, and we both listen to mixes and renders at 32. Like we just both know, like, crank to 32. And that's actually if it's mastered. If it's not mastered, well, depending. But yeah, it sounds great. Our cars are a great, what do you call it? Way to test mixes. So
that's how I feel about, because I drive, what's it, a 2009 or 2010 Honda Fit, and
Honda Fit. I don't even know what that looks like.
Just rent CDs from the library, or just buy CDs, and then I play with the bass, the treble, and the low, higher, or mid frequencies just to get it. I mean,
man, I was downloading all these Tangerine Dream board like recordings from like the 70s and 80s. There's so many. There's like just as many like Tangerine Dream like board like. And people trade these tapes. It's like Grateful Dead. They're so good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Those sound amazing on CD and like in my car. Also, Klaus Schultz. I'm like obsessed with, Ashrod Temple and like Emmanuel Goshen is like R.I.P. dude. Like he's one of my heroes. Like
I gotta get that E2 E4 CD ASAP.
Yeah, I will. I never really say this, but I will rep that the cut of that vinyl that is repressed most recently is super worth checking out, especially since a lot of the cuts that were in the past were not good, but this one is really great. And
again, because it approaches that limit of like a vinyl should not be going beyond really 22 or 24 minutes, but they were pushing to get it.
I think that, and also, I mean, bass has a lot to do. Whenever a mix has a lot of bass, there will be less time for a vinyl.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, like if there's a lot of bass takes up a lot of space on vinyl. So
interesting.
But the thing is, like, I think E2 E4 has a lot of space in it, but when the bass hits, it's like it's really right. I'm obsessed with bass actually now. I play bass in like 2 or 3 bands, and I've been making Spotify bass playlists. They're just like I don't know. I'm obsessed with bass guitar right now, but it's harder to get more time on the vinyl cut with bass for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel that. I've been looking at Ilbient comps and stuff of that nature. So Excursions and Ilbient, and it's Incursions and Ilbient and the Witchman Heavy Traffic. Those have been some big rotation from me, and that's good bass music. That's down, but it's like down tempo dance or kind of stuff of that nature.
I mean, I'm trying to expand my bass palette because I'm actually listening to a lot of just like funk or like a lot of Wings bass, like Paul McCartney Wings, like that. Man, his bass is so good in that.
Do you know the first Pan American album? That would be
Pan American sick.
That's just Mark Nelson of La Bradford, but that first.
Oh, I love La Bradford.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't actually know how to say that.
That's how they say it. That's how it is. La
Bradford. Yeah.
Okay, and Mark Nelson in the late 90s, when he was working at a record shop, had gotten a dub comp of stuff in the 90s, and he's like, oh yeah, I want to make an album of this. And so he made 2 dub albums and then kept.
What are they called?
And it's Pan American. The first one is called Pan American, and then there's 360, Overpass, and Bypass. But just that first self-titled with the red cover, that's the benchmark. That
90s Cranky. Okay. Yeah.
90s Cranky, and it's the first dub album they put out, and it was like no one expected Mark Nelson was going to do a dub album, but he had like because also it's not Bill Laswell style stuff, just totally like out of that spirit.
Oh, wow.
And he was listening to Bradford and dub style, and then that's what's also made Pan American's catalog so rewarding is like he does the collab with Low, he does The River Made No Sound, which is like 2 years ahead of compact techno, but no one's gotten there yet, so no one knows what to do with it. And then he makes Quiet City, which is a beautiful tribute to Chicago. He makes a slowcore album like 7 years later. Dude's got sound. Dude couldn't stop.
This is something I need to explore for sure. It's funny you say, seminal techno, because people say Emmanuel Goshling was like the first techno artist.
Oh God, yeah.
I think I'm like getting it, but I still don't quite know how to like classify techno. And I'm not ever saying it can be with words, but like when it's a lot of hearing. I think it's a lot of like phrasing and spacing and stuff, but like
phrasing and hearing. I've seen people compare E2 E4 to artificial intelligence, and like I don't quite like that, because E2 E4 was arriving at a conclusion of its own volition. In a way, the artificial intelligence stuff was like a decade later, and none of those artists had been to Detroit, and none of them had heard E2 E4 on a dance floor. They didn't know that context, but they got there too, of their own volition. But and again, there is, I don't know, Techno Rebels is a great book that talks about that history of Detroit partying, and then Michelangelo Matos's The Underground is Massive talks about rave culture, and I think does a brilliant job of the listservs of the Detroit stuff, of EDM, and covers all the little like things, but it has to be very broad, but it does a good job. Right.
Yeah, I would love to listen to all that you just said. I think I did hear though that like, I mean, I don't know if techno is necessarily a part of it, like the Paradise Garage in New York.
Oh yeah.
Which apparently a lot of those artists that were there liked Manuel Goshling and like Ashraf, but I don't know. Like I know Larry Heard maybe did. I don't know if he's considered. I don't know. Yeah, but I think there is a bridge for sure. I'm not really sure exactly what it is, but there's never not a bridge, especially with considering that music and vinyl was being like made and pressed 24 hours a day. Like, I mean, I think it still is maybe, but like that's why there's so much vinyl back, from like the 70s and 80s, is like because the presses were nonstop. They just didn't stop. And like, yeah, like, I forgot where I was going with that.
Yeah. Well, I guess should we move on to some like listener questions real quick? I know Maddie has like 5% battery left, so we should probably start.
I'll probably go run and get my charger here real quick.
Okay,
but
for sure.
We'll get through this.
Yeah. Okay, so we have two right here. Are you ready to take them?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, this one says favorite holiday of the year.
Man, probably Halloween, but let me think harder. There's a National Password Day, May 3rd.
Really?
What?
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. I'm down.
Or May 4th, maybe. No, not May 4th. May 3rd. Well, I feel like I don't want it to be May 4th because of that dumb joke, but I think it's May 3rd. Anyway,
do you remember?
I love Halloween because I like making up what me and my friends call Halloween names, where you just don't, like if you don't want to dress up, it's just like, well, what's your Halloween name? And we just have like ridiculous ones, and like, I don't know, they're fun.
That's sick.
I like pretending and shit.
Do you guys remember that show? It wasn't Jackass, but it was like Bam. It was about Bam Margera or something like that.
Oh, Viva La Bam.
Viva La Bam. And they like loved Arbor Day for some reason.
Really?
I forget why they loved Arbor Day, but I just remember that being something that stuck with me from childhood, that they just loved Arbor Day.
Wait, man, there's also, I guess I ate pizza on Pizza Day the other day, which was
right, Pizza Day was a holiday that just passed. There was also National Irish Coffee Day that just passed as well.
Can't forget Pi Day. Pi Day's coming up.
Pi Day's coming up, dude.
Pi Day, yeah, for sure. And like 311's pretty sick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And 7-Eleven, can't forget that day.
Right, yeah, no, and also like my birthday is pretty sick.
My work just gave us like it's kind of a dumb thing, but they kind of like took away 2 holidays or something that we were given, and they instead gave us like 2 holidays that we can take any time of the year.
Oh, really?
So I guess it could be
But-
like a birthday and it counted as a holiday paid day off or something like that. But it's like
Which ones did they take away?
it was like the day before Thanksgiving and like the day before Christmas, I think. So it was like kind of stupid.
So you have to go then, but then
Yeah, so it's like, well, you can just continue to keep using those as like your original like holiday,
Yeah,
or you can
that's-
take your birthday. And I'm just
that's
like,
funny.
yeah. I thought that it was gonna be like in addition to like those. It's like here's like
No.
two, and they're like nah, and I was like classic work shit. That's just capitalism,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
What do you do? What do you work at?
I do GIS. It's like making maps on computers,
Okay, cool.
and like I work for like this engineering company that like specializes in natural gas piping. And
Whoa,
so yeah,
like the one like Standing Rock.
oh,
Or wait, no,
this is like
Sorry.
no, it's not like oil pipelines. It's it's interesting.
I
They're
know.
like the business
Everyone
model.
checked in at Standing Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, do you that's funny as hell, dude. But yeah, I do remember that. And
That was like the last time Facebook was like really big.
Yeah.
It was like everyone checked in at Standing
dude,
Rock.
and then also in like right before COVID when everybody was like rush area 51, like that check-in or something.
That was good. That was a great bit.
Oh my god, dude.
So fucking good.
I'm gonna send Mark Zuckerberg a card of that day. Anyway,
Yeah.
dude,
But-
wow, Facebook is like hilarious. Marketplace is pretty sick though.
Dude, Marketplace goes off, which is like wild because like I really only use it for Marketplace at this point.
Right.
Was there a Simi Valley group that was like anti-mask? And they were
Oh,
holding
bro.
shops?
Dude, I
Oh.
think that this was like a thing that happened in like all like small suburban towns because my friend was saying there was like one for Chico. I'm sure they happen all over the place, but there was this like one page called like Simi Valley, like I don't know, freedom page, no rules or something with an American flag and an eagle emoji. And everybody, like literally everybody in town was part of it because it was just like this, like, I don't know, dude,
Yeah.
but like peak COVID, do you remember like when that shit was just like everybody was in the rabbit hole, like
Right.
nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So everybody's just going to get in fights online about like politics and stuff. Dude, that place was batshit insane.
I wanted
Crazy.
to actually say something about because okay, so I was looking at the radio programming here, and it says that it's like broadcasting is based out of Tijuana. Is that-
Oh, I have some friends that have like a radio or they have like a DIY space in Tijuana called NetNet Space, and they started an online radio station. So it's technically based out of Tijuana, but like there's people.
Oh,
all
I
over
want to
the
like
place.
I just wanted to like talk about this real quick. This book I read is an
Yeah.
amazing book called Border Radio, Quacks, Yodelers, Pitchmen, Psychics, and Other Amazing Broadcasters.
Mhm.
And basically it's about in the turn of the century, like 1910, there were these people that would get they would get like stations on the other side of the border on Mexico because they were like megawatt border blaster stations.
Uh-huh.
And they would basically it was like do whatever you want, and it would come here. It would come in the U.S. and also like South America, Japan, Western Europe. But it started this like the main dude who was really the big proponent of it was this doctor from Kansas who got really famous because he basically advertised that he could make men virile again by basically like there was a surgery he did where he would like get goat glands like from goat balls and like suture them onto your balls, and all these men became virile again, and they like changed their life. People would come from all over the country and world to like do this, but he promoted it with his radio station, and then it like basically spawned like so many other kind of like in retrospect, this guy was a quack. Like it really didn't do.
Oh yeah, it reminds me. It really
he made so much money that he became very, very influential, and he made all these con artists, like people that would just do all the shit. Basically, what I think the internet kind of does now.
Yeah.
In a way, and people considered it pre-internet because it was like the radio was something, you know, that's what you had to listen to. And like,
Yeah.
But I didn't know if that was why I was in Tijuana. Because it was like, you could, you know.
Oh, true. It was like different than the FCC or something, like different.
There's like different laws about what you can broadcast, basically.
Yeah. That really reminds me of, do you know that radio show Coast to Coast on the AM? It's like syndicated. Yeah.
Art Bell?
Yeah. With like Art Bell and,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't think of the other guys at the top of my head, but,
yeah, I forget too.
George Norrie, those fools. And anyways, they always have like those, like, you know, snake oil, like advertisements and stuff between their shows. And it's like, how are you even allowed to advertise this? You know what I mean? Right. It's insane.
Well, you know, it's like, how's Alex Jones a millionaire off his dumbass supplement? Like,
I know,
then, like, so many, dude, I saw this commercial that AI made that was basically AI made this fake footage from the Joe Rogan show. Like it was like clips from the Joe Rogan show. It was clips of Joe Rogan and the guy selling his supplement, them talking about his supplement and what it did and all this, like these probably untrue facts, but it wasn't this hadn't been actually said on the Joe Rogan show or anything. It was like, you could tell it was AI, like at least I could, but like, yeah, and it was just so weird because like this guy's supplement company actually kind of turned a profit because of this AI commercial. It's so crazy. Anyway,
that's wild.
Supplements are, it's like kind of the elixir, you know.
Yeah,
the shills are out there, and like I don't know.
It's actually crazy. Like I mean, even like people like Joe Rogan are pushing like maybe it's not necessarily like the worst thing for you, but they're like pushing like vitamins and like all these like weird like health fads, like I don't know, like ice dunking and like, you know, all that stuff. And like I have some friends that like genuine, like they watch Joe Rogan a lot and they genuinely believe that like they're like, oh no, like I take cold showers every morning because like it's like supposedly like good for like your brain or something. And I'm just like, you watch too much of that fucking podcast, dude. You know what I mean? It's like yeah, it's really interesting.
I mean, and also maybe a lot of that shit's just psychosomatic.
No, that's like what me and like one of my other friends were talking about. It's like kind of just like, yeah, maybe it's good for you because it's like a placebo or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you need, like, sounds like you at your point in this life right now need something.
Yeah.
Thinking, what is it?
Unfortunately, a lot of people turn to things that are like, it's so apparent to me that people that get caught up in a lot of the alt-right and bullshit, it's like they're lost. They need something. They're like looking for something.
No, that's what it is. It's like kind of insane.
And it's so easy to hook them. And like, that's scary because like, I don't know. I could have, you know, there was a time in my life where I was just like, what do I believe? I have no idea what I believe. I had no voice. I had no, like, you know, I just probably could have easily been, I don't know. Like, it's apparent to me now, but like, I don't know, people that don't really have something that they like a fulfillment or something. It's easy to get these people like, cool, unfortunately. And there's a lot of them, especially with like capitalism, where it's like, if you live in a capitalist society, you really don't know. It's hard to determine what you like because of how many options there are. It's like a maximal like environment. You don't really know. It's like hard to know what you like actually. And so when something comes along that's like really, I don't know, like that, like supplemental like stuff, or like, I don't know, it's really easy to get like, for some people get wrapped up in it, and that's scary because
it is pretty scary. Yeah,
because then they feel like they found a voice, they found something that does fulfill them, and it's like, well, it's not, I don't know, it's not that easy.
It's almost like cult, like, you know what I mean? Same thing that happens to people that get involved in like cults and stuff.
Oh yeah, cults are they prey on like the people that need the fulfillment or whatever.
Exactly.
That Nexium documentary is so good. Like, did you like?
I don't know about that. No, I don't know if I've watched that one.
Didn't watch that one.
Yeah, it's like a multi marketing scheme.
Oh, I see.
It's like, it's
makes
so
sense,
good. But they definitely prey on people who are like looking for fulfillment, like empower, like how to empower themselves, like in theory, and actually, like it can do a good thing, but like in the end, it's just it's really good.
Yeah. Anyways,
another question.
Maddie, do you want to take this next one?
Might as well do this one real quick here. So, Jake, we heard that you got big into movies over the pandemic. What's been your favorite movie of 2022? Could be old, could be new. What was also the worst? Dunk on whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, I like to watch a lot of bad shit, but I also like to watch a lot of good shit. Oh man, this is always like
it's terrible question because it's just. I
mean, like I guess, you know, maybe you saw, but what's his name from On Cinema?
Our boys, Tim and Eric, or not Tim and Eric. That's Tim and Greg.
Greg Turkington. He found out my, like, I guess the movie I like is The Long Goodbye. It's a great movie. That
is a great film. I rented the DVD and everything.
Robert Altman's, like, you know, film noir. Philip Marlowe character, who I think is. There's also a really good British like version of it. Well, it's not a British version of it, but it's a British noir that I think is great. That is called The Long Good Friday, with like Bob Hoskins and like Helen Mirren and like Pierce Brosnan's in it. Like, anyway, it's good. And then, okay, so one thing I really got to rep that I feel like people haven't seen, and it's so amazing, is this British TV show called People Just Do Nothing. And have you heard of this show?
Is this the adults? Or no, that's
no, it was BBC.
Everyone looks around.
Yeah, well, at first it was
Just Do Nothing sounds familiar though. I have heard the title.
These like really funny UK garage.
Yes, like get on the street, get on. Yes, I watched the first season. That show kicks ass.
They start like a pirate radio station. It's a mockumentary, and they're like complete like they can't get anything right, and they're so funny, and they think they're like the shit, and like they're really like but they're really aware of like what they're doing. It's so funny. It's so funny. And they have this like manager Chabuddy, who's like this Indian dude.
Their manager's great. And then the whole second season where they're trying to do a big gig and it actually is successful is.
Then they made a movie that came out last year called Big in Japan, where they go to Japan, and it's a masterpiece. It's so good. It's amazing. I think it's like one of the best things because it shows how the music industry is dumb and how to like, it shows how people flex and how flexing's stupid. And like, I also just really enjoy British, like vernacular, like, I don't know. I love that show Top Dog, which is like the British Wire kind of. And then like, I love British stuff. Yeah. So People Just Do Nothing, I think, is like something that people need to like get on because it's so funny. Is
it still on Netflix? I'd hope it would be.
There's like, you can, if you like, there's, I'll show you like fmovies.cafe. That's what.
Okay, no, because I did. In 2021, I watched the first 2 seasons and was like, this was real.
It was a YouTube show at first.
Yeah.
It's really low rent. It's like, but it's like, they're so funny.
The British have a history of like, there's a certain minority voice they're down with. They also have reality poverty porn stuff. It made sense that BBC like picked this up. It's not, and no, the show is not poverty porn, but the show is low income, and it's looking at that garage culture in a way. It's like the U.S. doesn't have strong pirate radio, and rave was never actual like legitimate. After 2000, that was like weeded out.
Apparently, they tried to make a U.S. version of it, and it missed the mark so hard that it was like it was such a failure. Like they tried to do a pilot. Like they got all the actors, they got the writing crew, they got a whole production of it, and they tried to do a pilot. They couldn't even make the pilot because it was like nothing made sense because it's so it's so like
it's of a region.
It's of
a region of it's like. Did you listen to Lorraine James? Do you know any of her? She has great albums on the Hyperdub label, and for her first album, it was a picture of the projects. And then it's like that was the vibe of People Just Do Nothing. That was what it was pulling from. That was who it was made for. And in the US, that kind of thing, there's no immediate parallel.
There isn't really.
And so like
there isn't, and it's like the kind of like ego that they like use that, and that's like so detrimental to their everything they do. It's amazing. Like but they also like the two main characters have insane they have like really good like rap battles that they do. They have written these. They can go on radio shows and like rap battle for like an hour. Like and they're all. It's like really different. They're amazing. Like they're great writers. I love them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't really think that. I mean, maybe they get like props there, but not here. You can't find it on Netflix anymore. It's not like I don't know. It's hard to find actually, but as far as like I don't know. I know it's not a movie, but like I really I like watch a lot of I thought Barbarian was really good. That horror movie came out, which was written and made by a
Whitest Kid You Know guy.
Dude, I love that dude. Zach Krager, he's amazing. I love the Whitest Kids, dude. They were so funny, man. I was so heartbroken when Trevor died. That dude was like so funny.
I only saw bits of it when I was little, in between IFC stuff. But
I used to not think it was funny, and then I rewatched it, and it's like, it's good. It's really
that stuff's good. I watched.
Riley got me into it again.
Oh,
yeah.
I could have done Whitest Kid You Know or Mr. Show. I went in the Mr. Show direction.
Yeah, I think I overall like Mr. Show better. Bob Odenkirk's like one of the best of all time to do it. I think I love that guy so much. Better Call Saul is amazing. I think, and like, he's always working with good writers and stuff. He's a great writer. Yeah, I wish he would make a movie. Actually, he did make that movie. Nobody. It's like a action movie where he beats the shit out of people. Crazy. He's making another one too. I don't know how he does it, especially after a heart attack. It's wild. Yeah. Bob.
Well, we have one last question here. Well, I guess where can people keep up with all things Jake Acosta?
Probably Bandcamp or Instagram or Twitter. Slow Bowl is like my Twitter and Instagram. It's a Slow Bowl. You know, like the under, like the 2-hand granny bowling style.
Yeah.
And then Bandcamp, jakeacosta.bandcamp.com. I also I think on Twitter or Instagram I have like a link tree, but those are because I have other projects like Famous Last is like I have a lot of music on that's like songwriting stuff.
Sick.
That I don't really actually my last Famous Last record that came out last summer was a double cassette. I only made 50.
Oh wow, that's sick.
That sold out.
Yeah, it sold out. It was everything was so like handmade. Like everything I had, I dubbed them all myself. I had they were risograph printed. The artwork was like I made with my friend Eliza Weber, who is a great graphic designer in Chicago.
That's tight.
And basically it was just kind of like a labor of love thing. It's a lot of music. It's like 111 minutes of music, and but it's like guitar. Like it's a lot of guitar. I don't know, like it melodic guitar songs, and I like to sing. I write. I was an English major, so like I actually write a lot of
oh, that's sick.
I like write a lot, so I like spend.
That's cool.
And I develop a lot of like ideas, and that like I'm a virtuoso, so like I'm not like good. I'm like kind of good at some stuff, like in my own way.
Yeah,
and like second to some was another thing that I used to actually, when I was younger, I thought that was the turn of phrase, second to some.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Which is hilarious because that makes I feel like I don't know. I like kind of underplaying or like undercutting the special terms. Yeah. So it's a lot of that kind of lyrics where I'm like talking about being second rate. Yeah.
All right, so we do have one more question, Jake. It's kind of the biggest one of the show. Do you want me to take it, Maddie? You want to take it?
Go for it, Thomas.
Okay, it's kind of the biggest one of the show. You ready for it?
Ready.
All right, so a rat is going to jump into your mouth. Do you want this rat to jump into your mouth head first or butt first, and why?
Shocking. I know.
Okay. Thinking if it can do butt first, that's so impressive. So go for that. And then I'm pretty sure if it's happening, that's like what's happening is it's like a rewind. It's in rewind.
Yes.
Me spitting it out. So I'll just press play and like, yeah, I'll probably do butt first. That would be weird if it wasn't just reversed footage.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
well, Maddie always lays it out good. Maddie, give him a scenario.
Oh, crap, man.
I got mice in my house and rats, so this is
you know that scene in like Ratatouille where like, they're like running on like the rafters and like the fan or something, and then like, say like one falls down and like you look up and you're like, right. Oh shit.
Right. And, yeah, because it's falling down. Yeah. I think it'd be an overall more amicable scenario if it went butt first, because it would probably be freaking out. If it went head first, it'd be like, oh crap, I'm going into the stomach of the whale. Yeah. But it also might bite me, and then
you gotta watch out for the bite.
Yeah.
And like it's what are they called? Hands? I don't know.
It's paws.
Paws, yeah, paws.
Little paw guy.
Little paws.
I always try to say or give the image that it's a white lab rat. So
Maddie always gives that detail.
Okay, yeah.
But like, if this were a rat that we're selling on eBay, it get A+++ feedback. It's the cleanest rat you've ever met. It was trained in that capacity, and it just needs to jump.
In that, okay,
has that oopsie.
You know what? I'm thinking about how it might piss and shit in my mouth. Let's just go. Because I don't need to know what that tastes like, really.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like, yeah. And like, yeah.
So head first?
Head first.
Let's give it a kiss.
And yeah, it'll be like we're kissing. And,
yeah. That's cute.
It'll be like
Ratatouille.
It'd be like, what's it called?
Like Lady and the Tramp or something.
Lady and the Tramp. There you go.
Yeah. You guys are like fighting over like the last piece of spaghetti, and then just.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's so cute. We're on a date. I'm on a date basically. Yeah. Which I've never gone on a date really, or like dates. I don't go on dates. So unless it's with a rat, a lab rat.
Yeah.
That's got a bunch of cocaine because it like is, that's what its lab is doing.
I mean, that's why it's white.
Right. That's the reason. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to Lietoc's Demands Remain Unwritten here on KCSB FM 91.9 every Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. Thanks so much.
February 26th is when this airs, right?
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. And
I read is that off the air right now or something.
What was that? Oh, NetNet is.
Yeah. Oh,
but KCSB is rolling 24/7, baby. This is Jake Acosta. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.